What's going on, everybody? John Eric Polai here with my MMA news, and today's guest will be fighting Jose Johnson at UFC Vegas 70. That fight date is February 25th. Pleased today to be joined by Garrett Armfield. Garrett, nice to see you, man. Thanks for doing this. Really appreciate the time.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you so much for squeezing me in and having me on your show.
So before we get into any specifics about UFC Vegas 70, I do want to back up for a moment just to your last fight. It was your UFC debut. I know things didn't go your way in that fight, but I'm sure it had to be quite the experience for you to debut in a promotion like the UFC. It's the glamour promotion in the sport. Just what was that like to be able to have that debut and have that experience?
Yeah, man, I felt like I was in the creative fighter mode on UFC video game. That's really what I felt like, because you spend so many years like building up to that point where you make it to the UFC. It took me like 4 years to get there, and then I remember I was sitting there backstage, and I was like looking at my gloves, like they've got UFC on them, and man, I can't words can't even describe the emotion I was feeling during that time. But I mean, if like I could just like sum it up in one word, it was ready. Like I was ready to be there. I put my dues elsewhere, and I was ready to go out there and fight. And I know, granted, it didn't go the way I was wanting it, but at the same time, I showed up along. I showed that, I'm going to be a problem for the guys at 35 because, again, that was out of my weight class on a couple of days' notice. So now back with a full camp, back in my natural weight class, and I'm ready to go out there and put on a show for everybody.
And for people that are out there watching, they might not realize, I always ask this to a fighter who's making their second walk to the octagon. A UFC fight week, there's a lot that goes into it, right? There's media day, there's picking up your fight kit, you got to get photos taken, obviously cutting weight in a different location. So much goes into it there. Do you feel now this is your second fight that you're kind of, more prepared for that and feel a little bit more relaxed this time?
Yes and no, because it's still like my full fight week because I flew out like on Wednesday for my last fight camp, or for the short notice, because it was like 3 days notice. And so when I got there, as soon as I got there, I had to do all of my medicals in one day. And then I didn't get to do media. I just got rushed through the entire process. And next thing you know, I was like weighing in, getting ready to fight. So it's going to be like my full week where I already have my medicals out of the way. And then I actually get to really experience like the full PI center. I get to do the media day. I get to do kind of like the entire agenda rather than just kind of getting rushed through it. So I'm really going to soak this one in because I've heard from multiple people that you only get one first fight week. Technically, I already had mine, but this is my first full week. And I'm just looking into just like living in the moment and, not trying to take any of these, like this time for granted.
Yeah, so, okay, you really didn't have a lot of time to do any of that type of stuff. Just how difficult is it just in general, though, to have these short notice fights like that? Because it's really, honestly, not the most ideal situation.
Oh, I think it's easy. You don't got to think. You just got to go out there and fight. Honestly, I love it that way. Whenever I wish I would have been like a little bit more prepared, obviously, like cardio wise, because I did get tired in the fight. But whenever I got the call, I was actually I just got done getting happy hour margaritas with my dad when I got the call, and I was like, oh shit, we gotta go to Vegas. And so but like personally, I think the short notice, like again, this fight camp, we found out an opponent 6 weeks out for this fight camp, which my last one, it was actually 12 weeks, and then I actually ended up overtraining about 3 weeks left and got a really bad staph infection that put me out for like about a month. So I think that too long can like be detrimental to you, and then obviously like short notice, you want more notice, but it's way less thinking, just more action.
All right, let's get into now the specifics of this upcoming fight here at UFC Vegas 70. Training camp's getting wrapped up now. Just how was camp?
Oh, camp's been perfect, man. Couldn't be happier with the way things have gone. The improvements I've made with my coaches and the relationships I've built with them as well. It's like with each fight camp you spend with the team, you just like create a stronger and stronger bond with like your coaches and your teammates. But everything's been perfect. We game planned thoroughly. And we've been putting into action and getting the required reps that we need to, be successful.
And I know that Kill Cliff is filled with a lot of great coaches, a lot of great athletes. Who are some of the people that you like working with and getting to pick their brain about the sport and that you really look up to and ask for advice when you're in the gym?
Oh, yeah. Definitely Sean Soriano for one. Of course, the coaches, Greg Jones, Henry Huth. Obviously, they've cornered hundreds of fights, so they know the ins and outs of the entire game. I worked a lot with Ronnie Lawrence for this camp. He's actually fought Jose before, and so he was actually able to mimic his style before me, and he's going to be coming with me for fight week. And then also Jared Gordon, who is just like a master at ground and pound and just being technical on the ground. He's a great fighter all over, but I've been able to pick his brain, and he's been able to build up a relationship with him to where I could get my ground somewhat looking like his, because his is crazy good on top.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of great minds down there at Kill Cliff, and it's great that you have that on your back corner there. Let's talk now about your opponent here a little bit. Just tell us a little bit about what you know about him and what you're kind of expecting on fight night.
Man, the dude likes to fight. I respect it 100%, but at the same time, I like to fight too. And, I don't back down. So he's got a good reach. He's tall. He's like, 6 foot tall. But I mean, at the same time, man, I've been boxing since I was like 8 years old, and I've always been the shorter guy. So I'm used to sparring against guys that size, and I never have problems with it. If anything, I think I do better against taller people because I do have like a longer reach for my height, and a lot of them, they don't see the jab coming from like down under. But this fight, he comes to put away and he comes to finish, and I'm the same exact attitude. I come to finish as well. I mean, I've got out of 8 wins, I've got 7 finishes with like 6 in the first round. So I love to go out there and put on a fight, and so does he. So it's going to be a great war. But at the same time, I see myself dominating every single position, every single minute of this fight. I'm not going to be fighting Jose Johnson's fight. No, sir. It's going to be Garrett Armfield's fight. It's going to be my pace, my speed, my transitions. It's going to be my fight.
And I know that just based on looking at your record, that you're a guy that likes to get finishes. You don't like going to the distance, leaving a hand in the judges there. So I guess is the game plan, like always, go out, get a finish, and then hopefully be in line maybe for a performance bonus from the UFC?
This year I want to go at least 3-0. If I can sneak in a 4th one, I'd love to as well. It's only February, so we're getting a head start on it. I want to do that, and then, I want to get paid. I want to get all my wins. I want to get all those finishes. I want to get bonus every single fight. I just want to stack it up and, get my worth, get what I've been building towards, for years now. So, man, plans ahead is just keep training and keep taking good fights, keep taking tough fights, and just keep getting better. Of course, to be honest with you, the division is so stacked. I don't see myself if I win all my fights, I still wouldn't be ranked within the bantamweight division. I know that. We know that's not an unreachable goal though. That's going to be one for more so 2024. I got to come in here and I got to, set the pace and show everybody who I am and see where that leads to for the next year. But again, the goal this year is to get 3 bonuses, 3 finishes, go 3-0.
And then obviously not the main goal here, right? Go out, take care of business, get a win. But I have to ask, since it is February, it's early in the year, what's kind of the most perfect 2023 kind of look like for you? What are the goals that you want to get accomplished in this year here?
Oh yeah, of course that's the plan. That's something I've been dreaming about for years now, man. Changed my life real quick with one fight.
All right, so I have one last thing, then I'll let you get going here. You mentioned before in the beginning of the interview about how you almost kind of like short notice opportunities because you don't have that time to overthink things and everything like that. So let's ask this, because you just said, right, you're realistic, you just want to get 3 wins, you're not going to get ranked, how deep the division is. Well, let's just say, not even a ranked opponent, but a guy that's well known in the division, maybe that's getting, pushed towards one of the ranked spots there. We see it happen all the time, right? Short notice opportunities happen on a more regular basis than what people think. If there's a big fight out there, somebody gets hurt last minute, there's a late pull out somewhere, are you going to be calling the UFC, and do you want to step in on short notice if the right opportunity presents itself with the right opponent?
Oh, hell yeah, man. The greater the risk, the greater reward. The UFC likes that when you step up on short notice. I've done it before, and I'm sure I'm going to get that opportunity to do it again, and I'll be there raising my hand, ready to step up and fight.
All right, Garrett, one last thing before you head out today, man. Social media, so people know where to follow you at. You have any management, sponsorship opportunities that you got to give plugs to, or any coaches or teammates or anything like that? Anything that has to be plugged, you get the last word today. Floor is yours.
Yeah, of course. Shout out to, my management team, Iridium, everybody at Kill Cliff FC for helping me get ready for this fight camp. You can follow my socials at Garrett Armfield 135 on Instagram and Armfield 135 on Twitter. Also, I have a partnership with OnlyFans, so if you guys want to see some behind-the-scenes footage, You can follow that. It's just Garrett Armfield on so OnlyFans. The link's in my bio. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on, man. I appreciate you.